Okay, that was a lineup on the show, and phablets are launching every single week this year. Recently, LG also came out with the all-new LG G Pro 2. And up next on the show, we get you a review of that. LG, which is known for making the Google Nexus 5, came out with this recently. This is the new LG G Pro 2. It's more of a steroid-buffed cousin of the LG G2. This bulky device is the one for phablet lovers, or is it? LG G Pro 2 is a really big device that straddles the line between smartphone and a tablet. It has a plastic build to it and has a sturdy stance that is solid and reassuring that it will not break into pieces. It also features a removable battery, and the button placement on the G Pro 2 is at the back like its older brothers. The front of the G Pro 2 is mainly dominated by a huge 5.5-inch display, and the bezels are thin. It's a well-made smartphone for sure. LG G Pro 2 features a huge 5.5-inch IPS LCD Full HD 1080p display up front that is bright, vivid and reproduces colors magnificently. G Pro 2 is powered by a Qualcomm Snapdragon 800 MSM 8974 quad-core, 2.2 GHz Crate 400 processor backed by 3 GB of RAM. Built-in storage is 32 GB, expandable up to 64 GB, and the G Pro 2 runs on Android 4.4 KitKat operating system loaded with LG Optimus UI. The smartphone performs seamlessly and handles multitasking with an ease. The camera on the LG G Pro 2 is something that did not impress us at all. The primary camera is 13 megapixels with an aperture size of f2.4. It does have features like autofocus, optical image stabilization, face detection, burst mode, geotagging, high dynamic range mode, panorama, but then the image quality was not that amazing. In fact, the only saving grace was its capabilities of recording 4K content, but then again, where will you play it? For selfie lovers, there's also a 2.1 megapixel camera that is not that impressive too. The battery is something that is brilliant on the LG G Pro 2. First things first, in this day and age of non-removable batteries, LG gives you a removable 3200 mAh battery that lasts you easily more than 24 hours. We were really impressed by the battery on this one. LG G Pro 2 is priced at Rs 38,000 and competes with the likes of Samsung Galaxy Note 3. Sure, it's not as good as performer like the Note 3 and the button placement is just too odd, but when it comes to battery and the price, it sure is a rock star in its own way. Now, if a human eye was a camera, it would have more than 500 megapixels of resolution, and all that processing power takes a lot of stress on our eye muscles. But worry not, performance optical solutions are now available in India, and our next story is all about one such brand called Gunnar. We spend most of our waking hours glued to our computer screens, smartphones, tablets and TV monitors. As the hours go by, we subject our eyes to harsh, high-intensity blue light and glare from the screen. Constant viewing of digital screen creates eye fatigue, dry eyes, blurry vision and even headaches, leading to an obvious conclusion. Staring at a screen can take a toll on your eyes. Well, Gunnar optics have been in the business of making your eyes stress-free. This is the Intercept ONYX Z, an eyewear for the advanced gamers. With an amber lens color and onyx color frame, these are classy and stylish. But then again, a lot of technology goes behind these lenses. This is a precision optic made for gamers. The wide format lens on the Intercept ONYX Z creates a panoramic view field for high resolution viewing. Also, the rigid lens mounting area keeps optics from degrading through lens flexing. The ONYX Z also uses engineering-grade injection polymers that provide dimensional stability and long-term durability. Gunnar optics comprise of eye-amp lens technology that is specifically engineered to reduce digital eye strain. They use fractile lens geometry that includes a specifically tuned focusing power to enhance detail and high-wrapped lens design that limits air currents near the eye. The use of DMX lens materials, which is optically pure, ensures the clearest image by eliminating distortion and haze caused by impurities. The ionic lens tints improve overall contrast and comfort by filtering out harsh artificial light, eliminating UV rays and reducing high-intensity visible light. And finally, the iFi lens coating includes an anti-reflective layer to reduce glare and an exterior hard coating that minimizes environmental damage and scratching. All this boils down to a precision optics that makes your eye muscles stress-free. This precision optic is not only for gamers but also for coders, technophiles, bloggers, business professionals, creative artists, intense computer users, IT technicians and even video editors. Priced at Rs 3,999, the Gunnar Intercept ONYX Z sure are expensive, but then that's a small price to pay for your precious eyes. Now, wouldn't it be cool that you can buy a smartphone which is affordable, has 4G LTE compatibility and is great for taking selfies? Well, one such phone is available from the house of Huawei, and up next on the show we get you a review of that.
Huawei has a new phone to show off in the Indian market, and it comes in the form of the all-new Ascend G6. With its metallic edging and rounded bottom, the G6 feels like a slightly toned-down version of its elder brother, the Ascend P6. At 7.9mm thick, the G6 is quite a bit bulkier than the P6, but it still feels fairly comfortable to hold, and its 4.5-inch display means that the body is marginally smaller too. The 4.5-inch display also sports a 960 by 540 pixel resolution that won't impress those of you looking for a full HD panels in your phone. But despite a low resolution, the phone features a sharp display with decent viewing angles. The G6 is powered by a 1.2 GHz quad-core processor and contains 1 GB of RAM, which churns out a decent performance for everyday essentials. The phone comes with Android 4.3 Jelly Bean out of the box and Huawei's own Emotion user interface on top. While the Emotion user interface is quite simple and basic, it gets rid of the Android menu and pastes all apps on the home screen, much like the iOS, which is one feature some users might not like. The phone also comes with 4 GB onboard storage, which is expandable up to 32 GB via micro SD card. Around the back is an 8 megapixel camera with LED flash and full HD video recording capabilities. But more interestingly, you'll find a generous 5 megapixel front-facing camera, which is great news if you're a constant selfie snapper. Huawei has also introduced a selfie preview window feature for better selfies. So now you can frame yourself up just right for that ever so perfect selfie. Connectivity-wise, the Huawei G6 seems pretty sorted. Apart from offering 2G and 3G, it also has 4G LTE connectivity for super speedy data downloads. The handset also runs on a 2000 mAh battery, which will last you just over a day even with heavy usage. At a price tag of 14,600 rupees, the G6 is a decent offering from Huawei. But it will undoubtedly face some serious competition in the market from both domestic and global smartphone makers who have existing devices with similar or better hardware features in the same price range.
Now, when Samsung came out with Samsung Galaxy Gear last year, it was not very well received by the consumers. And now they've come out with a second generation to that, the all-new Samsung Galaxy Gear 2. And this one is slightly better.
Samsung launched the Galaxy Gear last year. It was received with mixed reactions from consumers, to say the least. And now Samsung came out with its version 2.0. Meet the Samsung Galaxy Gear 2. The Gear 2 is now designed more like a real watch. It uses brushed metal inspiration when it comes to the design. The camera now is no longer on the strap of the watch but built inside the body itself. There is also a heart rate sensor at the back of the watch. The good thing is that you can now replace the straps on the watch. This wearable tech is now IP67 certified for water and dust resistance, but you still can't swim with this one. The Gear 2 has a dual-core 1 GHz processor and a 1.63-inch 320 by 320 pixel Super AMOLED display. The colors leap out and are brilliantly reproduced on the screen. It gets connected to your Samsung Galaxy device via Bluetooth and the range is pretty good. You can check out notifications, receive calls and even use S-Health on this. The health rate sensor is also a pretty neat integration on the Gear 2. Beyond all this, there are also backed-in apps on board like a universal remote, camera app, watch on, S-Voice voice control, voice memos, a log of notifications and an email app. There is a 2-megapixel camera that lurks on the top edge of the Gear's 2 body that can take quick photos and is capable of shooting 720p videos. The images come out in a square and are Instagram ready, and the image quality is just about fine. The battery life on the Galaxy Gear 2 has improved tremendously and now it lasts you easily for about 2 days. The Samsung Galaxy Gear 2 is undoubtedly a big improvement over the previous generation Samsung Galaxy Gear. The downside though is that it works with Samsung Galaxy devices only. So if you're a Samsung loyalist willing to spend 22,900 rupees and you're dead set on getting a smartwatch now, the Gear 2 is a better bet than last year's Galaxy Gear.
What if you could have a smartwatch that will be compatible with a smartphone of your liking? Well, LG has come out with an answer to that.
Samsung Galaxy Gear 2 is not your only option when it comes to a smartwatch. LG G Watch is now up for sale on the Google Play Store at a price tag of 14,999 rupees. The LG G Watch comes with a 1.65-inch IPS LCD touchscreen display and is powered by a 1.2 GHz Qualcomm Snapdragon 400 chipset with 512 MB of RAM. LG G Watch is also water and dust resistant and boasts Bluetooth 4.0 connectivity. With impressive design lines, promising specs and a price tag of 14,999 rupees, this is one cool smartwatch for sure.
Now, Blackberry was one company that was marred by the Indian consumers just because of slow processing powers and obviously high prices on their devices. But now they've come out with a new smartphone in the Indian market and it is reasonably priced. And up next on the show, we get you a preview of the all-new Blackberry Z3.
Here is a good news for all you Blackberry fanboys and fangirls. Blackberry launched this shiny new smartphone in India. Meet the Blackberry Z3. Let's tell you what it's priced at. Blackberry Z3 will be available at a price tag of Rs 15,990, and on pre-order you can book it now for about 1,000 rupees less. Blackberry Z3 has a 5-inch touchscreen display without a physical QWERTY keyboard. The display resolution is lower than what was seen on the Blackberry Z10. The Z3 is powered by a dual-core 1.2 GHz CPU from Qualcomm backed by 1.5 GB of RAM. There is also 8 GB of onboard storage that is expandable up to 32 GB. For connectivity, you get NFC, GPS, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth and USB 2.0. At the back, you get a 5 megapixel camera with LED flash, and for selfie lovers, there is a 1.1 megapixel snapper at the front. Blackberry has included a 2500 mAh battery with the Z3. At a price tag of Rs 15,990, the Z3 is the cheapest BB10 operating system device available in India right now.
Now, smart gestures are something which are really cool on a smartphone. And handset makers in India are coming out with new devices just to cater to this niche audience. And recently, Panasonic also came out with its all-new Panasonic P81. And up next on the show, we get you a review of that.
This company has been known for keeping home cool with their air conditioners. And then they made smartphones that heat up like these. Never mind, they are finding a new space with their latest smartphone offering. This is the Panasonic P81, a smartphone that promises to put Panasonic in the uppercut of great smartphones. Or maybe not. Panasonic P81 looks like any other smartphone that companies make. A black slab with some capacitive buttons, a huge screen up front, a plastic back panel at the back, and Android hopping on your screen. It's not that great looking smartphone, but is made well and means well. Keep noticing it for some time and the design sinks in. Panasonic has kept the bezel slim so that without stretching your hand too much, you can use the entire screen. And at just 7.9mm in thickness, it's easy to pocket as well. P81 also has a metal trim that runs on the side and gives the oomph factor. The display of the Panasonic P81 is a 5.5-inch HD IPS display. It's not a full HD display but offers pixel resolution of 1280 by 720 pixels. P81 is a dual SIM smartphone, and trying to keep up with the processor wars, Panasonic loaded it with a 1.7 GHz octa-core MediaTek MT6592 processor with Mali 450 MP4 GPU and 1 GB of RAM. Yes, it performs decent enough considering that it has an octa-core processor at its heart, but then again, don't expect it to perform like the heavyweights of the smartphone world. There is also 8 GB of internal memory, expandable up to 32 GB with a microSD card. Panasonic has been advertising this smartphone a lot for its gesture play for opening apps. Well, it does perform on that front very well, and that is one main USP of this smartphone. Apart from that, it's a regular Joe. Panasonic P81 features a 13 megapixel rear camera with LED flash capable of 1080p video recording and a 2 megapixel front facing camera for selfies. The images come out crisp and sharp, and the camera performance is something that was impressive on the Panasonic P81. This is one department where it does not disappoint at all, but like many other smartphones, the low light photography is just too grainy. Panasonic P81 features a 2500 mAh removable battery that is quite impressive and lasts you a day easily, even with heavy usage. In the battery department, the P81 is right on the money. For With a price tag of Rs 22,000 on the box, Panasonic P81 isn't the best smartphone around in this price range. Gesture play sure is good, but when it comes to performance, looks and overall smartphone experience, it's just another pretty average option for you guys.
App developers are very important for any operating system to thrive, and Google takes Android very seriously. Next up on the show, we get you all the highlights from recently held Google I/O 2014.
Google announced the Android One program at the Google I/O 2014, which will be a turnkey program, helping manufacturers create high-quality Android phones easily. The surprise package is that Google is working with India's Micromax, Spice and Carbon for the first set of Android One devices. That is one great news for Indian smartphone manufacturers. Google also announced that the Micromax device would feature a 4.5-inch display, dual SIM capabilities, FM radio and micro SD card support, and will just cost $100. That turns out to be about 6,000 rupees. These smartphones will run on stock version of Android just like Google's Nexus smartphone and Google Play Edition devices. It looks like that the days of feature phones are numbered now. Google also announced unlimited Google Drive for work that has a price tag of $10 per user per month. But well, there is one limitation. Individual files cannot exceed 5 TB. Also, Google decided not to officially launch a new version of Android, but to showcase the L-named preview instead. This will give developers more time to bring their apps up to speed before Android L is released.